We're all connected to each other biologically, to the earth chemically, to the rest of the universe atomically.
I think nature's imagination is so much greater than man's. He's never gonna let us relax.
We live in an in-between universe where things change alright, but according to patterns, rules, or as we call them, laws of nature.
I'm this guy standing on a planet. Really, I'm just a speck, compared with a star. The planet is just another speck. To think about all of this, to think about the vast emptiness of space. There's billions and billions of stars, billions and billions of specks.
The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. The cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff. We are away. The cosmos can know itself.
Across the sea of space, the stars are others, and we've traveled this way before, and there is much to be learned.
We're all connected to each other biologically, to the earth chemically, to the rest of the universe atomically.
I find it elevating and exhilarating to discover that we live in a universe which permits the evolution of molecular machines as intricate and subtle as we.
I know that the molecules in my body are traceable to phenomena in the cosmos. That makes me want to grab people in the street and say, have you heard this?
The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. The cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff. We are away. The cosmos can know itself.
There's this tremendous mass of waves all over in space, which is the light bouncing around the room, going from one thing to the other. And it's all really there, really there. But you gotta stop and think about it, about the complexity, and really get the pleasure. It's all really there, really there. The inconceivable nature. To think about all of this, to think about the vast emptiness of space. Billions and billions of stars, billions and billions of specks.
The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. The cosmos is also within us. We're made of star stuff. We are away. The cosmos can know itself.
Across the sea of space, the stars are others, and we've traveled this way before, and there is much to be learned.
That was the Talking Alternative Radio Encore broadcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Now, for the live shows, professionals serving community, talkingalternative.com.
What's up, gang? It's your boy, the Nonprofit Sector Connector. Nonprofit Sector Connector, coming at you from the top of my house, just above the second floor, below the roof. I'm in the attic. 14 degrees here on Strong Island, as we call it. And it is like, I don't know, man. I was just telling my guest in the green room here, I'm not a big cold weather guy. I don't like the cold weather. So for 44 years, I've lived on the same island and just kind of complained about it for 2-3 months. So it's cold, man. But you know what? Like, in all honesty, I have a home. I have a warm coat. I have food to eat. And you know what I'm all about is connecting nonprofits. And plenty of Americans and people around the world don't. And I'm angry about this type of stuff. And I already feel how heated I'm getting. So I got to calm down, Tommy D. This is Philanthropy and Focus. That's the name of the show. Focus is spelled Phocus. Only one place in the world, I believe, in my attic. Everywhere else, I think they spell it with an F. I've heard, but I like alliteration. So philanthropy starts with a P and an H. And in my world, so does focus. All right. If you heard right before you came we went live, you heard the mantra of our station here. And I wrote it down because I want to point it out. Professionals serving community. And, you know, when I came up with this idea for this show a number of years back, before I did anything about it, it was just an idea, right? I didn't know where I was going to do this show or how I was going to do this show. And I land here with my buddy Sam Leibowitz and this incredible family here at talkradio.nyc. And that just hit me again, professionals serving community. And that's certainly going to be a theme that we're going to talk about with my guest, Cliff Baker, today. But I want to tell you a couple of things before we even jump into this conversation. You know, I'm going to say it. Nonprofits change our world each and every day. And it's my job here to help them tell their story and amplify their message. Not because I'm so great at storytelling, just because I'm so curious and interested in helping them tell their story and helping them, as I say, amplify their message. Nothing happens without the connection. If you're the nonprofit sector connector, which is funny, people are doing email introductions. It just happened. Shout out to a friend of mine, Jerry, who made an introduction for me this morning. And he introduced me as, you need to meet Tommy DeMisa, the nonprofit sector connector. So it's kind of fun when you do these things and they're real, but I'm so passionate about making connections in the sector. Shout out to my friend John Rod out of Freehold, New Jersey, because I was at a networking meeting for a group we run called TNG, the networking group. And people say, what's your specific ask, Tommy? What are you looking to do? And I'm always saying, look, I'm looking to meet nonprofit leaders so I can, as I said, help them tell their story and amplify their message. John said, you got to check out this organization down by the Jersey Shore. You got to find out what they're doing. Long story short, and I'll tell you this, people say, Tommy D, you couldn't make a long story short, even if you wanted to, which is probably accurate. I tend to make a short story longer and a long story even freaking longer. But if you're showing up listening to this, you must be interested in some of the stuff I'm saying. And I just think we need lots of details and stories. So I put them in there. All right, look. John Rod says, Tommy D, you gotta meet this organization. I was supposed to go down and do a day of service, hashtag 60 days of service in the summertime, got caught in traffic and had to reschedule. So it was actually, I did day number 11 after day number 29, just in December. And what was really special about getting to meet the organization was to see the work they're doing. And Cliff Baker's here is going to tell us all about that work, but to see the work they're doing, but also to experience it. I had this opportunity. These two veterans who had formerly been homeless are now in housing. And not only did the organization send me out there with a Christmas meal and a bunch of other food stocks for these two men, but they also, these men had just gotten in a new home. So they sent me with plates and cutlery and china and all these things that, some of the things you might not think about, a hamper, a basket, a clothes basket, just the basic needs to really get these guys going. And I will tell you, I'm a big mush and I get emotional about this stuff and I get sensitive about it, but I was very emotional that day to connect with these two men. And it was a super opportunity for me. And I would encourage you all to try to get out there and do a day of service. Maybe 60 is not right for you, but maybe a day a month. Do a day a year. Cut out early on a Friday and go do something for a nonprofit. Trust me, there's plenty of opportunity and plenty of need out there. So today, I'm going to now just introduce my friend Cliff Baker. Cliff, when you're ready, come off mute because I want to talk to you. We're going to get this thing going. So here's the deal. I'm going to read the background, the bio. I'm going to do it real quick because I don't want to tell Cliff's story, and he probably doesn't want to tell my story. I want him to tell his story, and I'll tell you guys my story. If you want to hear how great I am, text me. I'll tell you all about it. Just kidding. I'm only serious. Everybody relax. All right. Cliff proudly served our country as a sonar technician on the fast frigate, and I practiced that. The fast frigate USS WS Sims, and in the United States Navy. Cliff, I say this with appreciation from everybody that's connected to me. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the men and women, the service that they provided alongside of you over the years. I appreciate that. We all do. Thank you. Let's just say that. Start there.
Nothing finer than a 1059.
Nothing finer than a 1059. All right, FF 1059. It says I left the parentheses out.
Yes,
Nothing finer than a 1059. Now I have to Google a picture of frigate, and I like to say the word frigate. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
My wife says to me, "Tommy, you sound like why do you say friggin' on your show?" And why do you call yourself your boy Tommy D? And I go, "This is kind of what I do, babe. That's the deal. That's how it goes." If you're listening, baby, I love you. But if you're not listening, I love you either way. All right, so. After experiencing the world and returning to his area, which is down in Jersey, Cliff quickly developed a niche in many aspects of the food service industry with the Singer Equipment Company. He built strong relationships with the restaurants in the community, and I think that's probably,
tie-in.
Yeah, I think there's something there that you get to leverage in what you're doing with this organization. So in June of 2010, he created the Baker League, which is a basketball league, which it went from a handful of players to now 300 players. So I will tell you, my business partner and a lot of guys who are older than me still go out and play ball. And I play ball in the driveway with my son, and he's only 10, this son. And so I'm still beating him and his boys, but I don't know. I think there's an arc of talent that's going to happen. And, not that I'm a very talented ball player, but I win because I'm much bigger than he is right now, but that's going to stop, I think.
Yeah. So, that happened to me about 6 years ago.
Is that right?
I'm going to stop playing once I become once I can't play up to my caliber anymore, once I can't play my level, once I'm starting to hurt the game, the guys I'm playing with, it's time for me to step away.
So when you become a liability versus
liability,
right on. I totally get that, man. I totally understand that. And I'm the biggest guy in the driveway, so it's pretty good for me right now.
Yeah. But I was able to pick up a new sport, pickleball.
It's so funny. I'm picking up my oatmeal this morning, right? And it's funny you say pickleball because where I live, there's a racket club. And I hear these two gentlemen talking, and they work at the racket club. And I wanted to engage in conversation because, as I tell my kids, a stranger is a friend I haven't met yet. But I did not engage in the conversation with these guys. And now, they're probably listening to the show because this show's a big deal here on Long Island. So everybody's probably.
Everybody's cold. Everybody's inside.
Everybody's inside. Nothing else to do than listen to Philanthropy and Focus. Right? That's all there is to do. Well, so I didn't ask them, but I know they play pickleball in this place over here. But tell me, we're just going to totally stop the bio. We're going to go right into conversation here. You're going to tell me all about pickleball, and then maybe we'll talk about a need to be feed at some point. But what are we doing there? What kind of racket?
So I describe pickleball as a combination of pickleball, ping pong, and tennis. Okay. It's played on a smaller version of a tennis court, and it's played with like a hard plastic, almost like a wiffle ball.
Is it like hot? Is there holes in it like a wiffle ball? Okay.
Yes, there's holes in it like a wiffle ball, but not just on one side. The entire ball has holes on it.
Okay.
And you have a paddle, like bigger than a ping pong paddle. And it's what I love about the sport is very strategic.
Okay.
You're always thinking. You're always thinking 2 or 3 shots ahead.
Really?
Yeah, you're setting up your opponent to move the one direction.
Oh, okay, so you're going to send him over here to the left because I'm going to drop it right on the right side at some point, right?
Exactly. Now I don't want to give away all my secrets.
No. Nobody's listening.
Yeah, just between you and I. What I like to do is set him up to the left and then bang him right down the middle.
Hey, listen, whenever you want to play pickleball, you and me for money because I know your secrets already, kid. It's all good. I want to play that, and the place I'm talking about is right around the block from my house, and I know this game is like taking off. Like people are really. Yeah.
So addictive. And what was nice is that, I couldn't play basketball anymore. My knees went bad, but playing the pickleball is not as bad on my knees. It's not as hard on my knees.
Okay.
I go out there and play for 2 hours and it's like no pain at all.
You're a competitor. I get the impression. Yeah.
Love, but it's friendly competition.
Yep.
I love to play a good game of whatever I'm playing. You could beat me as long as it was a good game.
No doubt.
Do you guys against each other? We try to figure each other out, make all these changes in the middle of the game. I love thinking.
I dig that, man.
Strategy.
Yeah. Like, what about board games?
Oh, yeah. I'll play chess. I'll play checkers.
Okay.
We've got this old family game called Upwards.
Upwards. That's like a
grandmother and I played.
Like Scrabble, where then you're able to stack the letters.
Stack it up.
Yeah. My nana used to play that game. Oh, man.
What? My grandmother used to play with me, and I used to get mad at my grandmother for letting me win.
Anna was a killer. She was a killer. Like, she would be like, we play like 500 rummy and like regular rummy, like gin rummy. And she would get so like pissed off. Like, if you beat her, she'd go, "Oh, you ruined me, Thomas. You ruined me." And like, I like literally, Nana's gone so long now, but I like literally feel it. Like, and Scrabble was her game too. But the rummy, and she would get so pissed. But Upwards, yeah. But that's good. That stuff is all. Look at this. We're about to go to a break, and we're just talking about pickleball and board games. Just get this how this show goes, Cliff. So that stuff though, that strategy that keeps us going up here. It keeps the whole thing going. So let's set something up, because we're going to come back in a few minutes to really dive into the organization. But you served in the Navy for how many years?
A total of 6 years, 3 years active and 3 years active reserves.
What drew you to do that? Was that something?
You're in high school, getting ready to graduate. You don't know what you're going to do. I have 5 buddies. And all of a sudden, one of our guys went and signed up for the Navy. He comes back to class the next day, says, "Hey, you'll never believe what I did. Like, I signed up for the Navy." And we're like, "What?" And they said, "Let's all go." So the 4 of us said, "Yeah, let's go." So the 4 of us go with our friends. So the 5 of us go back to the recruiter, say, "Hey, we're all friends from high school. We want to go into service together. What can we do?" The Navy recruiter signs all 5 of us up.
This was like a big deal, like for a sales guy. He was like the champion.
Like, I hit the home run. This is the greatest deal. He sells us on everything. You guys will be together through boot camp. You'll get stationed together. You'll be on the ship together. You guys will have a blast. We all get our orders, and the 5 of us, boom, California, 2 go to Great Lakes, 2 go to Florida. We don't see each other again.
Wow. Yeah.
What the heck?
Hey, look, I don't even know the man. I don't want to say anything negative about him, but sounds like a pretty good sales guy to me.
He got us. We were young. We were 17, 18, gullible, believed everything.
Yeah, but that's pretty awesome, man. That's great. All right, so now I know why you did it. I want to hear about some of that experience if you want to.
I got to tell you about boot camp. I got to tell you
about a lot to do.
Traveling overseas.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. This is Tommy D in the Attic, Philanthropy and Focus. Cliff Baker, co-founder and president of A Need We Feed, is here with me. We're going to talk Navy. We're going to talk serving veterans. We're going to talk some really exciting initiatives this organization has. We'll be right back. 90 seconds, Philanthropy and Focus.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business, or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant. And on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
I still get a chuckle every time I hear that last line, especially Cliff. Right when my guest first hears the attic part, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It goes from like whoop the smile, like the Grinch comes up, man. Pretty good, right?
I love that. It reminds me of what's that movie, Men in Black, where the one guy's up in his attic.
Yes, I've been up in this attic now with this whole world the way it is for 2 years, which is weird to say, not to be silly and tongue in cheek, but this was the thing they told us was going to last 2 weeks, and then Easter, and all that kind of stuff. And now I don't know if I'll make a shout out to guilty pleasure of mine was always watching South Park. Now, I don't know if you're into that show or not, but are you?
A little bit. I find it candy though how they always are like up on current subjects or forecasting what's going to happen.
Pretty wild. It's pretty wild, man. I think they might have a crystal ball. You might be right.
Yeah.
They have this new movie, and I didn't watch the whole thing, whatever, because the kids kept coming in. I can't have my kids watching that show, but it's 40 years in the future, and we're still in COVID. Like, so I really hope what you just said about them being able to predict the future is not right.
Is wrong.
It's wrong on that.
Let's hope for the first time they're wrong.
Oof. So, all right, look, it's just after 10 a.m. on the East Coast here in the U.S., but apparently my buddy Kyle, our producer on the other side here, is letting me know that some folks in the UK are checking in and listening to the show. So hello, it's about 3:17, 3:18 on the other side. So hello to everybody over there. Actually,
3:17 in the morning?
No, in the afternoon. It's like they're ahead of us. I had to Google it while we were on commercial break, but I will tell you, many years ago, I was. This is something that is probably super important to the United Kingdom. So I'll let them know. My wife and I got engaged in 2005 in London. I was working for ADP many years ago in payroll sales, and had gone to the President's Club in London, and I went there. Cliff, I'll tell you this story. I actually used to wear like a silver chain back when like that was a cool thing to do. So I had the silver chain, and I had the engagement ring on the chain going like, and that's how I flew like that. And, not to make a big deal, but it cost me a couple bucks to buy that ring. So it was like anxious. I was a little anxious on the way over there, but I wanted to get the ring on her finger as soon as possible. So it wasn't my responsibility.
Yeah, get it off your neck. Literally get it off your neck.
Literally, that's pretty good. I like this. We could do a show together. Oh, we're doing one. All right. So, all right. So let's go. The Navy. Let's talk Navy. Let's then take that into this organization and the need for a need we feed. What happened?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk some more Navy, here we are. We get scattered. 5 of us shoot across the country. I get sent out to San Diego for my boot camp. And, you see the movies, you hear the stories, see the trash cans getting thrown around. You hear people screaming and hollering. I'll tell you, it's all true. It's all true. We get out to California. I think it's like the middle of the night. We get off the plane. And, again, we're 17, 18 years old. We don't have any sense about us at all. We're getting off the plane. And all of a sudden, these guys in uniforms are screaming at us. Get on the squares, line up, get in a straight line. You talk about just fear right off the bat.
Yeah.
Get us to the San Diego training. And I think I went to sleep at maybe 3 a.m. And literally 4:30-ish, a metal trash can, comes flying into our barracks. Wow. And the joke is, most of us don't even know how to shave yet.
Your kids, your babies.
The first thing they're trying to teach us is to shave, but just not a basic shave. The first rule was up, down, side, and side. That's a lot of shaving on a face that's never been cut.
And it's a soft little baby face.
Yeah.
Right,
half of us come out gushing with blood.
Oh my God.
We got tissues on. So we get shaving done, we get dressed, we get lined up. My first meal experience in boot camp. Each company has about 70 people in our barracks. So we line up, we march to the galley, getting ready to have our breakfast, go down like a cafeteria line, we get our tray, they scoop the food on, we get to a picnic table style bench, but it extends like 30 feet. So you sit down, get ready to eat. The next person in your company comes, sits next to you, so you move down. Next person comes, you move down. So I keep sliding down till I get to the end of the bench, and I'm getting ready to eat. The company commander takes my tray away. I was like, wait, I didn't even eat. You had your chance. We're sliding down. I was like, oh,
you're supposed to be eating. You're supposed to be eating and moving.
Eating as I move down.
And you didn't know that.
I had no idea. My first experience, my first meal in the military. I was like, come on. Wow. So, I mean, right away, they are teaching you to react, adapt, overcome. That's the motto. I mean,
adapt, overcome.
That, they're teaching us.
Wow. And
now,
like you're young guys, right? You're coming out of school, you know, depending on how disciplined you were, like growing up, not just you, I mean, anybody, you know, like I went to private high school, you know, but so had some level of discipline, but not to what you're talking about. I mean, you're still a knucklehead kid.
Knucklehead.
Right? You know, like that's, wow.
Now, you know, all I did was laugh. All I did was joke. You know, I'm a taller guy. I'm like 6'3", 6'4". Yeah. The company commander maybe was 5'8". 5'8".
So does he have to look up and holler at you?
Yes, he's looking up at me, screaming and hollering. And all I do is laugh.
I think, were you out, but like outwardly laugh? Like,
yeah, I would put a smile on my face, and that would get him even more mad.
Of course it would.
Laughing. Why are you laughing? Drop. His famous words to me were drop. I did thousands and thousands of push-ups. You'll never. I think for 2 months I was in the push-up position.
Well, you know what though? To laugh, and he wanted you to drop it so he didn't have to look up at you anymore. Yeah. Probably part of the thing. But like, were you in good shape when you? I mean, you had to be shredded afterwards. But when you got there, were you an athlete?
I went into boot camp at 175.
Okay.
I came out at 195.
You just kind of
just ripped. I mean,
yeah.
So, you know, part of the training was the push-ups, but a role they put me in was to supervise and inspect the rest of the company before the company commander came in. So my job was I would get up first. I would make my rack, make my locker, take my shower, shave, get dressed. I mean, gig line, belt, everything had to be squared away. Then I would make sure everyone else was up, ready, dressed.
Wow.
Inspection. Then our company commander would come in and inspect us. If anything went wrong, it was
it's on Baker.
It's on Baker.
So, but if it's good, you get a little accolade or just nothing.
I got trouble. All I got was trouble. I mean, one time, we're getting, this stuff is happening so early in the morning. It's still dark out. We're in barracks that are 2 stories. So I'm on the bottom level, checking everyone out. The company commander sneaks in through the back up to the top level. Don't even see him, don't even know he's there. All of a sudden, I just hear, I mean, we're talking 5 a.m, Baker! And it just echoes throughout the whole, it's a just big empty barrack, big metal empty barrack. I hear my name. Next word I hear is drop. I'm like, wow. So here I am doing push-ups. I don't even know where he is. I don't even know what's going on yet. And then all of a sudden the guy comes down in my ear, says, do you know why you're doing push-ups? I said, no, sir. Someone was still sleeping up in their rack.
So you're supposed to be checking.
Everybody was up.
You're supposed to be, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you can laugh about it now, but in it, that's tough stuff, man.
Oh.
Right? But coming out of it, you must be like, you must, like, even in, how long is basic training? Is that a couple months?
2 months.
2 months? Like, you're a different person coming out of that, right? Not just physically, but like
mentally.
Yeah, right?
Mentally. The biggest challenge about being in the service is mental.
Yeah.
They train you every day to try to break you. So
because they're set to correct me if I'm wrong, but to set you up for the stuff, I was going to say a bad word, but the stuff that you're going to see and deal with, you need to be like a machine, right?
Right. So that day, the company commander found him sleeping in his rack. We go throughout the whole day of our regular routine, our regular training. Around 5 o'clock, everyone was allowed a break, and then the day would end, around 8 o'clock. So 8 o'clock, whoever got in trouble got what was called mashed, extra mashing. So that night, 8 o'clock in San Diego in August, I had to put my wool hat on, my wool sweater, my dungaree jeans, and go out in the parking lot where the Navy SEALs would mash us.
What does mash mean?
Just extra punishment.
Like
push-ups, extra frogs, leg lifts, everything to train us not to make that mistake again. Wow. And I'll never forget, I can hear the guy whispering, the Navy SEAL, you don't see them, you don't know where they are, they're just slithering around. I'm doing leg lifts. The guy comes in my ear, Baker, I'm gonna break you. Baker, being 18.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything. I got this.
Of course, because now you're a tough guy, right?
Yeah. I'm like, bring whatever you want. I got this. You're not breaking me.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna break you, Baker. So, but their challenge was to break us, to train us to be able to react and adapt and overcome anything.
And I mean, they got a system. It works. I mean, looking back at it, change your life, right? Like,
right. Again, I keep talking react. So during some of our training, we would go into a gas chamber. We would go into a gas chamber with a gas mask. They would make us take off our gas mask. Now, we're smart kids. Oh, we're just going to hold our breath.
Right.
They would keep us in there long enough.
That doesn't matter.
Breath. Yeah. And whew, we take in this big, gasp of air, and we take in the gas, and then, we're tearing up, we're choking, but it's part of being, part of our survival.
Yeah.
So another training was they would put us in a situation where we had to float for, a good 45 minutes to an hour. So we were taught, take our dungarees off, make them into a buoy. We would take our dungarees off. We would tie knots in each leg. We would take our waist and scoop it on top of the water, grab it tight, and then tuck it under our waist, and it created a flotation device.
Yeah.
But again, to train us, if we're on a ship, our ship gets hit, if we get stranded, if we're out in the sea, we got to find a way to survive. It's all about survival.
That's incredible. I did not serve in the military. And I find, though, there's something about other countries who require some level of service, right? I mean, I didn't serve, so I'm not going to get on a soapbox about it, but I find that and I learned a number of years ago, which I didn't realize, the far majority of people who serve are not necessarily serving in a combat situation. I think the numbers are if my numbers might be off, so excuse me, but 90% or more of people don't serve in a combat, like on a front line. There are so many different things that people are involved with. But I just wonder what that would do in this country if everybody had to do some level of service. When I talk 60 days of service, not to mock what I'm doing, but I'm doing things that are great, but I'm not serving in the
not to jump forward our story. Yeah. I do remember being in Israel and going on a corner and seeing a military man strapped with bullets and holding a machine gun on the corner of a town. Yeah. We start a conversation. He goes, "You have no idea how lucky you are to be in America, where you don't have to patrol the streets like this, and you don't have to serve service." He goes, we have to. Minimum 2 years after high school, they have to. But the lesson I learned from serving, being over there, is when you come back home, you have much more respect, much more appreciation, and much more love for this country. You don't realize how good we have. I don't care how bad you think it is, how bad everything is. This is still so much better than anything overseas.
Wow.
What I got to see is just, we would pull into ports, and as we're pulling down the lane, we would see homes, literally homes made of cardboard boxes, wood. I mean, no ceilings, no insulation, nothing. But the people that would come out, nicest people ever. So appreciative. Fast forward through the whole story.
I'm with you, man. I appreciate your candor and all this. We're going to take a quick break, but I appreciate where you're going with this. It brings up a lot for me about, there are parts of this country, and specifically with the Need We Feed, we'll jump into that, where people, and especially our veterans, not that, no one should be eating out of a trash can, gang. No one should be homeless. This isn't right. The scarcity thing is, we'll be back and we'll talk more about it. But the thing is, something needs to be done.
Well, here's something to think about.
Yeah.
Overseas, right? a lot of countries we go to, we're not welcomed overseas. They don't want us there. They don't like us there. We leave there and we come home. And even when I came home in the 80s, we weren't welcomed home.
Even in the 80s and 90s like that. We're not talking about like after Vietnam.
I was talking 87, 88, 89. We weren't always welcomed. It wasn't a big, warm, friendly feeling like we have today for the veterans. So
yeah, and I feel like, we do have to go to break in a second here, but I feel like with, after Desert Storm, or during that whole time with the yellow ribbons, I feel like, and again, I know my part of the world. I know my own perspective. I don't know the whole thing, right? But I feel like the troops were looked
that's when it switched.
It did, right? All right. We're going to take a quick break. Cliff Baker and I are here on Philanthropy and Focus. We're going to talk A Need We Feed. We're going to talk impact. We're going to talk about the future of the organization when we come right back. Kyle, take us to break. We'll be right back.
Howdy, I am Joseph Franklin McElroy, host of the new podcast, Gateway to the Smokies. It airs on talkradio.nyc every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 7. Every episode is dedicated to memorable experiences in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and surrounding areas. This show features experts and locals who will expound upon the richness of culture, history, and adventure that awaits you in the Smokies. Tune in every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 on talkradio.nyc.
Are you passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a small business trying to navigate the COVID-19 related employment laws? Hello, I'm Eric Sauver, employment law, business law attorney, and host of the new radio show, Employment Law Today. On my show, we'll have guests to discuss the common employment law challenges business owners are facing during these trying times. Tune in on Tuesday evenings from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc, now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
That's what I'd like you to do every Friday morning around 10 a.m. Eastern Time or 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the UK. Cut through the static. Join me in the attic. I'm Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector. I like to do that voice like that. It's kind of fun for me, Cliff.
All right, so, voice.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's do this. A Need We Feed started on October 29th, 2012. So we go back, talk about tragedy and challenging experiences in our lives. Being here on Long Island, certainly remember when Hurricane Sandy, Superstorm Sandy came through. How did this organization start? Obviously, you have this service mentality. We talked about that. How does this organization come to be?
So Hurricane Sandy hits. It did a number on us here in Ocean County. I mean, it destroyed our town, our community, our homes, and a lot of the restaurant businesses I dealt with that are along the shore. So it put us in a little fog for a couple of weeks, wow, what just happened? Probably 3 weeks after the storm, we started to get back on our feet, started trying to go back to business as normal. I walk into one of the restaurants that I serviced forever called Boston's. It's a local bar and grill, family owned, a family I've known forever. So we're in there doing, our normal business and talk on a Monday morning. And I noticed 2 young military kids walk in. I said, you can tell they're out of place. They don't know where to go. They don't even, they don't know anything, right? Young kids like I was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So they come in, they walk in, they don't know where to sit. I go up and introduce myself. Hey, come on in, guys. It's the place is open. Come sit at the bar, talk. What's going on? What are you guys doing here? Oh, we're helping you guys restore the shore.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's great. what else is going on? We have a little small chat, talk about what they're doing. I said, you know what? Thanksgiving's about 3 weeks away. What do you guys got going on? Well, we have no plans. We're from Kentucky. So we have no family, no friends up there. And that's where it hit me. That react mentality. I go back 30 years of my own life thinking when I was in the Navy, I was overseas in France. Me and two friends were walking the street, lost, at a place, walked through this local town. We're in the 80s, so there's no Yelp, there's no GPS, there's nothing, there's no assistance.
Didn't even have a cell phone.
Not even a cell phone. So we find our way into some neighborhood. We're trying to find a restaurant. We're trying to find some place to eat. A couple walks out of their house. They see us in uniform, asks us what we're doing. We're telling them we're lost. They invite us into their house. This random couple in Cannes, France, invites me and my two friends into their house, make us steak and eggs. I'll never forget it. I can still see that plate right there. A piece of steak and eggs. I've never had that. 18 years old. What experience? Nothing. I said, what? How nice was that? What a nice gesture. So here we are, back to Hurricane Sandy. I'm at Boston's with these two military kids. They said they had nowhere to go for Thanksgiving. It hits me. Now you do. You're coming to my house. I'm inviting you to my home. I'm going to have a Thanksgiving dinner for all our first responders, military and police that are here helping us restore the shore. I said, do me a favor, go tell everyone who's over there, want them to come to my house. He said, Cliff, that's 350 of them.
I was going to say, you must have a big house, Cliff Baker.
I was like, wow. So typical fashion, I react, I commit. I said, okay, guys, just give me a little time. So I take down their information, I leave, I get in my car, I start to think. I said, what am I going to do? What have I just done? I said, there's one person I know I could call. My good friend, Chef Mike from Atlantic Bar and Grill. Mike was in transition. His restaurant was damaged during Hurricane Sandy. He was out of work for the time. I said, this is perfect. I said, Mike, I just committed to feed 350 people, man. What are we going to do? In typical Mike fashion, we got this.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, Mike calls all his restaurant connections, all his restaurant friends. I call all my supply friends. I mean, we had chafing dishes donated, heating boxes donated, tables and chairs donated to us, a tent. Mike got scrambled up like 50 turkeys. One of my restaurants made 400 pounds of mashed potatoes. Another one made 350 pounds of vegetables. We had it all brought in my house. Now I'm talking.
Oh, dude, this was at your house. You really did.
Yeah. Standard little home, one little kitchen, little 4-burner range, kitchen appliances, no appliances for chefs. The house was packed. I mean, we're destroying the house. 50 people in the house just making a mess. But we were loving it.
Yeah.
What we were doing. Mike came up with a plan. He goes, all right, listen, Cliff, we're going to do 3 seatings of 100. We'll have the first 100 come to the house. We set up a big buffet in the garage. We'll have them come in. We have all the volunteers. We'll serve the food. They'll go around back, have their meal, have their dessert, go back over to the shore, and the next 100 will come, and we'll do a little rotation like that. Get all our volunteers together, go to explain the game plan. We get the call back from the first responder. They were not allowed to cross the Seaside Bridge because they implemented martial law because of looting and rioting that was going on. They just thought it wasn't safe and blockaded the bridge. So no one was allowed to come over. So now what are we going to do? By chance, one of our volunteers worked for the Toms River Fire Department. Puts up his hand. He goes, guys, I can get us a fire truck. The fire truck is allowed to cross the bridge because it's considered a first respond vehicle. So you got to be kidding me. I said, all right, go get the truck. Goes downtown Toms River, gets a fire truck. I live on a street with a cul-de-sac. All of a sudden I see a big red and white truck coming down the street. And as it's getting closer, I'm like, this is just not a fire truck. He brought the hook and ladder fire truck. This thing takes up our entire cul-de-sac. I think he took about 18 K-turns to turn this thing around. But we said, all right, all the volunteers get on the line. One of my manufacturers donated to-go containers. I said, package a meal into a to-go container. Put 350 meals on our driveway, took the bags, put them onto the fire truck, the fire truck was allowed to cross the Seaside Bridge, go in and find all the pockets of first responders. And we delivered a hot meal on Thanksgiving.
That's friggin' incredible, man. Oh my God.
It was so awesome.
Do you have pictures of this?
Yes. No, we got pictures of the fire truck. We got pictures
because that's
of our
actually I have the website pulled up and I see the fire truck. I don't know if that's actually the
yes.
There's a picture of the fire truck. Gang, if you want to check out aneedwefeed.org, ANEEDWEFEED, just like it sounds, .org. But there's the Toms River Fire Rescue.
Yep.
Oh my God. I didn't even as I'm asking you the question, it's like out of the corner of my eye.
So that fire truck was able to go the bridge, found the pockets. We found 3 or 4 different pockets of first responders, delivered them a hot meal. They were thrilled because they were getting food donations, but cold food, and they had no power over there, so they had no way of warming up a meal. We were the first ones to deliver a hot meal.
No kidding. And in the pandemic, that's become like a thing. We know it, right? 2 years in, a lot of organizations have been doing that, delivering food to meals, first responders, especially, nurses and doctors and folks in the hospital systems. But then, I mean, you were kind of onto something new. I mean, that's 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, 10 years ago. So we finished our Thanksgiving feeding. Mike and I meet at a local restaurant called Aqua Blue. It's right by the Seaside Bridge. And we start doing like a recap of what happened. Like, Mike, I can't believe we pulled this off. I can't believe we did it again. So much happened to be from the Manalocan brick area. I said, hey guys, I heard what you just did for Thanksgiving. We have a bunch of first responders in our area. Do you think you could do this again? I said, well, it's coming up. I said, but I can't do this out of my house again. There's no way. The owner of Aqua Blue overheard the story. Kathy reaches into her pocket, takes out her keys to the restaurant, puts them in my hand. Says, Cliff, use my other restaurant, Cafe Italian. It's yours. Use it for Christmas to make your prep your meals, package your meals, and make your deliveries from our restaurant. I said, Kathy, that's amazing. Just like that. And that's the thing about restaurant people. I mean, they will give you everything. Everything. I mean, the shirts off their back. I mean, they are the hardest working people, most committed people, most loyal people, and just they want to help. So for Kathy just to give up her restaurant, give us the keys, let us go into her restaurant, the trust, the faith, and just the goodwill was amazing. So that Christmas, we delivered 650 meals. Wow. And that's how we started. If there was a need, we would feed.weebly.com. That was our thing. If there is a need, then we will feed. If there is a need, we will feed. And we got our free website, .weebly.com. .weebly.com. All right. So two things. We got to take a quick break again. We're going to come back. We're going to do the lightning round because this is a great story. I go just to give a shout out to what I'll call my sergeant at arms of Philanthropy and Focus. Mick Collins, my buddy, is on Facebook. And I go to cut and paste just now and put a Need We Feed website on Facebook for everybody. Mick's already done it. So thank you, Mick Collins. And he said thank you earlier in the show. He said thank you for your service, Cliff. You definitely need to meet him. He's in that Delaware, Maryland area, Gaithersburg, I think, where he spent some time and does a lot of work for nonprofit organizations on the merchant processing side. And they give back. Every swipe benefits charity. So they have a whole foundation. We'll talk. Folks from his organization are coming on the show in a couple of weeks. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about, we talked about new initiatives in 2012, talked a little bit about Fort Dix. Maybe I know it's a new thing, but maybe we could talk about that. I want to talk about Meals on Wheels, what that looked like during COVID, and really in that relationship with the state of New Jersey, if we can talk and go into that. And then what does this organization need and where are we going? How's that sound, Cliff? Sounds good. Very good. We'll be back in 90 seconds. This is Philanthropy and Focus, big time radio voice. We'll be right back.
Join us every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern for the Mind Behind Leadership, where we focus on what leadership really means to us and to others. We have practical discussions with the CEOs of some of the world's largest companies, owners of small businesses, and experts in psychology and behavior to get that inside track, what to do, what to avoid, and what really happens. Join me, Graham Dobbin, at the new time, 4 p.m. every Tuesday for the Mind Behind Leadership, here live on talkradio.nyc.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Calling all pet lovers.
Pet Avengers, assemble!
On the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, we believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. It mirrors that bond between pets and their owners. Through this program, we come together to learn, educate, and advocate.
Join us live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. at talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
Join me in the attic every Friday, 10 a.m. We're back. This is Philanthropy and Focus. Cliff Baker, co-founder, president of A Need We Feed, is here. Cliff, this is what I like to call the lightning round. This is the time when we really got to dive in quick and let's hit them with the big stuff. So programming wise, I had the experience, as I said, last month in December to go down and see what you guys are doing. I only got a little taste of it. Food. So see what I did there? Boom, boom. All right. So what are the programs? What happens? What does this look like on a weekly basis for this organization?
So once COVID hit, we had a new initiative start where my industry, the restaurants, got shut down. The pandemic shut us down. My livelihood was lost. My relationships I've had with these people were 28 to 30 years. I've known them and been working with them. And just like that, they're about to lose their business. So we said, we have to do something. So we switched gears and started raising money. And the money we raised was used to purchase meals from these restaurants to help them survive until the pandemic passed and they could get back on their feet. It was supposed to be just like a little Band-Aid, a little lifeline, something to keep the doors open, to keep their employees there. And it just took off. I mean, we went from a $32,000 a year budget to raising $400,000 on our own. So 2020, we purchased 27,000 meals from this money we raised. And we have multiple restaurants that would say, you guys helped us keep the lights on. We would have closed our doors if it wasn't for you guys. And what also happened during the pandemic was situations where Meals on Wheels stopped making their deliveries due to the fear of COVID. We came up with a safe way of delivering meals where we would deliver to now these homebound seniors who weren't getting meals, where we would leave them on their front porch, ring the doorbell, and walk away. And the seniors would just open the door. The veterans would just open their doors, grab their meals, and go back in. So it was no contact. We made sure we had gloves on, masks. So we kept it safe, but we found a way to safely deliver these meals. And the program just grew and grew and grew, where we were doing, on average of 200 meals a week to over 800 meals a week. 2020 ends and 2021 begins, and New Jersey puts out this grant, New Jersey Serve and Sustain, or Sustain and Serve New Jersey, where to qualify for the grant, the nonprofit organization had to purchase 25,000 meals through 2020.
Jack.
Yeah, and buy meals from restaurants who stayed open during COVID and had 50 employees.
Wow. It's like they told you to, the answers to the test. It's like I had a friend, Louis, we used to work in the bar business together, and we always wanted to get tomorrow's paper today. We used to a little bit of sports gambling, whatever, but we'd like to get tomorrow's paper.
Yeah.
But it's like they gave you the answers to the test.
It's exactly what it felt like. It's like, all right, who gave them inside training to give us the inside track? I said, this is perfect. So we qualified for the grant. We got approved for the grant. We received through 2021 $460,000 plus additional money we raised. So from the start of the pandemic to today, we've raised and spent $1 million.
Holy cow. Gang,
Purchased over 100,000 meals.
100,000, sorry to cut you off there, Cliff. 100,000 meals, $1 million. This is an organization that was at a $32,000 budget.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you guys caught what Cliff just said to us there. $1 million raised, and not that it was raised, but it was raised and then it was spent. You know, when we did a video outside the warehouse, Farrah's Tees, where I met
Yes.
a couple weeks ago, we did a quick video and like the whole thing, and you were like, that sounds like a win-win-win. I'm like, yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it is. You know, the organization is sustainable. Yeah, and I met a bunch of your team while I was down there because it was right around the holidays. So I think it was like Christmas. So a lot of your gang was there, which was really cool for me. Wow, Cliff, what a freaking impact! Like, because you're not only helping the homebound folks, you're not only helping the veterans, you're helping these restaurants that, again, I grew up in the restaurant business. You said restaurant people are great. You know, as I mentioned, I was a bartender for a long time. It's a tough gig, man. And I remember being a kid and saying, it snows a couple of days, you lose 2 days, that month is in trouble. Forget what went on in the last year and a half. So, what really, really super work that you're doing. What does the future look like for this organization? Who do you need to meet? I do know some folks down in Jersey, but I've seen some of your stuff. You guys got a lot of connections already, but I wonder if there might be things we can help make connections for as well.
Absolutely. We're always looking to help, more veteran groups. We're trying to, being a veteran myself, my own experience, we want to help each other. Veterans are very proud. They don't look for help or don't want to ask for help. But when they know it's a veteran-based organization, they're more open to work with those. But I guess, it's got me kind of choked up because it's kind of disturbing. That's something I just found out through the American Legion, that one of our local bases, the Fort Dix area, the active service families are struggling. Like I said, we're just scratching the surface. I'm just starting to hear some details about it. Something with the pandemic caused the spouses of the service members not to be able to leave the base.
Go back, because you explained this to me before we were live. So what traditionally the spouse would tell that story quick.
Would leave the base and get a second job.
Right.
The income was used to provide their budget for their meals, for their expenses. Now COVID hits, they're not allowed to leave the base. They have lost their job. So now picture me, I'm overseas trying to defend our country, fight for our country. Can't even focus because I'm worried about my wife and children at home who can't have dinner. I mean, it's just so disturbing to think that active service members are now having an issue. So we're trying to investigate it more. We're trying to find a way we could help. How can we get them meals? How can we coordinate this? So that's our big initiative for 2022. We're looking to take on another 1,000 meals a week.
Wow.
Active service families.
How many are you at now? Are you at that 800 still?
We're at 1,511 meals a week. We're spending $15,000 a week.
You're spending $15,000 a week?
Yes.
On 1,511 meals a week. You're going to add 1,000 meals to that. So you talk about other organizations, and I'm Googling one. So I got a friend, a buddy, we haven't talked in a while, but he's been on the show before, James Corbett, from an organization called Project Refit. They're down in South Jersey. Do you know them? Are you aware of them?
No, I haven't.
All right. They do a lot of, around for veterans around PTSD and support around traumatic brain injury, and really support groups and Zoom meetings that they have for these men and women to really connect. He's got this mobile base that they're bringing around to support gangs, to support guys and girls, and it's really special work. I got to get you connected with him. I'm going to put their information too right here on Facebook. So, you guys can all, but let's make that happen, because I bet he'd be super interested in making an impact there. We've run out of time. Honestly, I can't say we're running out of time because we've already done that. So that's how the show goes. I can't wait to see you guys again. What events? Don't you have a big event, a big tasting or something?
Casino night coming up March 25th or March 26th.
March 26th. I know when we planned you being here in January, we said we were going to talk about that, and we almost didn't. March 26th. Is it right on the website?
Yes.
March 26th, casino night. to support this organization, which I want to hear more. Let's keep in touch on that whole thing with Fort Dix, because I want to be able to tell that story even here on the show. Thank you for being here. I got to bring the show to a close right now. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do, and I appreciate your friendship. Thank you so much, Cliff.
Thank you.
Stay with me 1 sec. We're going to just take it home. All right, here's what I have to tell you. The New York City Imagine Awards are available. Go to nycimagineawards.com. Check those out. There's if you're a nonprofit organization, 501c3 charity that does any work in the 5 boroughs of New York City, you got to apply. I've been on that committee. If you want to ask me about it, send me an email, TommyD@philanthropyandfocus.com, PHOCUS, but you probably know that by now. TommyD.NYC on Insta, TommyD.NYC on TikTok. Next week on the show, we're going to be talking alternative to incarceration. My friend Angel Rodriguez built this organization, Avenues for Justice, out of the Lower East Side of New York City in the 70s when it was a real tough place to be, and really helps young people of color when they get jammed up in the system. This organization comes in to support them. Stay tuned for Steve Fry, always Friday, Jeremiah Fox after that on the network. Thank you very much for being here. Cliff, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate your service. Make it a great day, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy